Corum recently announced the First Look program, which allows you to sell for free. It's a unique deal origination platform with a couple hundred buyers out of our database of 19,000 who can provide feedback to smaller software and IT companies looking to sell. And if they buy, they pay the commission. So it's free. Great idea, right? Yes, it is. We got an overwhelming response, not only from sellers who wanted to sell, but other buyers who want exposure to the 600 to 800 technology companies Corum sees each month through our 300-plus annual events. The rollout of First Look went great. Then we had to hit pause. Something totally unexpected happened. Let me explain. The headline about fallout is an apt description. Fallout is exactly what happened. Do you remember several weeks ago when the freeze in Florida hit and big iguanas started falling out of the trees, triggered by the cold? Who can forget those images? That's what happened to us with sizable companies dropping out of the trees, triggered not by the cold, but by the word free. Seriously. Some of them big. The owners having waited for years, even decades, for free to happen. The owners of these companies were wedded to the old myth that companies are bought, not sold, which, by the way, is not true. But they were hoping that some strategic buyer would discover them, or that a deal maker like Corum would just come along with the perfect offer. Waiting for free, right? They would never have to pay a commission to manage their own destiny. They wouldn't have to worry about preparation, research, competitive buyer contact, and all that's involved in a true global partner search to achieve the optimal outcome they desired. No, not them. It would just come to them, free, right? So they'd been waiting there patiently. The word free finally brought them out of the foliage. Sadly, though, while waiting for free to happen, many of these owners had completely missed the market, lost an opportunity to exit with serious wealth. They should have done a global search process long ago. First Look was set up specifically because of the constant problem of software and IT sellers waiting for that perfect buyer, hoping for free. That Prince Charming of a company that would give them the perfect offer, the optimal outcome in terms of price, structure, minimum taxes and liabilities, and optimum and employment agreements. The problem is that the buyers who normally come a-calling is not some prince, but a voracious bottom feeder who buys hundreds of companies like yours, leveraging the overwhelming lure of free and expedient. Their offers are marginal to what we normally get, but their cash is green, and it is a bird in the hand, right? For the sellers to calibrate that offer, they'd have to get into a search process. Look, they might make a lot more, even millions, but that wouldn't be free, would it? There'd be commissions, and this offer is expedient and free. So guess what? Way too many of them cave into free. Hundreds of companies, in fact, cave into free each year, even though they could have gotten an average 48% more, paying roughly a tenth of that gain in commissions. At every one of our conferences over the past 40 years, we have encountered this dilemma. People come up to us and say, I've got an offer. Now what do I do? Today, even the smallest companies are being approached. If we take them on as a client, we will always beat their offers. The problem is we can only engage in global searches for about 1% of the companies we see. What about those who don't qualify or otherwise can't engage? To help them from selling to these predators, years ago, Corum set up an informal group of buyers, an advisory board of sorts, who could at least give these selling companies some validation on their sellability and maybe provide some competing offers. It was very helpful, but we needed more representative buyers from our buyer database of over 19,000. So after 5 years of development, we finally announced First Look. It's a real boon for companies to get fast exposure to a range of qualified buyers, not just one. Buyers who represent over $30 billion in capital for an investment or acquisition. But First Look is not the right option for companies that should be going through our full global partner search. That's the mainstay of Corum's business, exposing you to all the qualified buyers in our database of 19,000 to get you the optimum outcome. Let me close with one last thought that this fallout experience really underscores. Whether big or small, Don't miss your window of opportunity. I've never seen a better market to sell than right now.